Alright, I just want to make a quick video on Blighttown drop. Not a lot of guides out here for it. Um, it's the most foolproof way I found to do the drop. It's how I do the drop in Glitchless. So this initial step here, once you get past this plank, you're going to want to curve in and roll into the corner. And then once you land, you're going to want to time a back step off the ledge so you get the iframes to negate the fall damage initially. And that way you only take one set of fall damage upon landing. And so what that looks like, you can sprint through the whole thing if you want to. I have the best luck letting go of sprint right before I walk off. It gives me a better angle and more of a window to make the roll that I need. So we'll sprint, let off sprinting, roll, back step. You can see I negated the fall damage, and then I landed and only took the one set of fall damage there. So the issue you might run into with the setup in a live run is if you don't have the timing down for the back step perfectly, you can still take damage and miss the iframes. And it makes it a really tight quit out in order to save yourself, because if you miss the iframes and back step off the ledge and land on the next platform, you will die. And so that looks like this. I missed the iframes, and this would be death. And so it's a really, really tight quit out window there. Now, what you could do, if your reaction time is good enough, you can either try to get that quit out window if you miss, or if you miss, you can try to roll down this way. So you go down this hole and you have more time to quit out. But even then, like, that has to be fast reaction time and hope that it doesn't end a run. Now, what I do personally in my live runs that's more foolproof is instead of rolling into this corner and backstepping this way, I roll back towards me, and that way my back step is back that way, which means that if I miss my iframes, I don't slide off the ledge. And so what that looks like is this. Cool. And so what would happen here is if I miss my iframes, I would still be safe. I could Estus up, and then I could slide down the ledge. And if I do hit the back step, all I have to do is nudge myself down this way, do my normal weapon toggle, and continue with the drop. So I'll show you what that looks like if I miss my the iframes. You can see that I'm still going to be safe. So here, roll. I'm still safe. I don't have to quit out, nothing. I can just Estus up, slide down, continue with the job. So I'll show the back step one more time. Now, if you're not confident with this back step at all, negating this initial fall damage with the roll is pretty finicky, I've found, so it's not as easy to hit as the backstep iframes. But you always can just, you know, go down here, land like this, heal, and continue with the drop. Right? It's just not as quick. It's not as optimized. So I sprint to the edge of this plank, let off sprint, roll towards, backstep, slide off, toggle. I miss my toggle there, and now we're here, right? Now to get down to this bottom plank, I usually just freehand it. Some people might get to the edge here and then do like a point gesture, right? I obviously don't do that, which is why I missed. But some people do use that. Really, I just freehand it for the most part, or once I get here, I just zoom in with the bow and I walk off appropriately in order to get down to this plank. Right, so the most foolproof setup I found is this black dot just to the left of it is where you want to aim. If you actually aim on the black dot, you do run the chance of hitting the invisible platform here, which can suspend you in the air, and you have to either do a quit out or pray that it lets you down and you can continue your rolls. But a quit out's the safest. You just don't want to hit that, essentially. It's the best case scenario. So a little bit left of this dot, it's going to be an arrow cancel into 3 right rolls into a forward roll. Now it's really important the last roll is a forward roll, because if you don't do a forward roll, you will not negate the fall damage on the slope and you'll die. So arrow cancel, 3 right rolls into a forward roll. That's going to be the easiest setup there. Alright, so once again, we get set up here. Right, once I'm on this plank, I really just make sure I'm pressed as far forward as possible. Right, without being too far right, you know. If you're a little bit right, like See, I'm a little bit off-center to the right, and this would still work. But if you're too far right, chances are you'll probably fail the drop. And obviously the same thing. It's hard to set up too far left in the first place, but if you're too far left, you potentially fail the drop as well. So really, like, even right here is perfectly fine. That's why I just do one last little nudge towards the wall. Make sure I'm flush with it. Aim just to the left of this black dot. Really, this like tan dot right here is fine. Arrow cancel, 3 right rolls into a forward roll. That's it. And I'll see if I can mimic hitting the invisible platform, which would be aiming too far right here. So that still worked. Let's see if I can hit it. I'm gonna save my position on this plank instead. I'm gonna aim too far right. Still worked. Let's go a little bit more right. So you can see I got hung up there on that platform. Sometimes you get hung up for longer, like indefinitely, and that comes from being too far right and aiming too far right, like on this black section. So you can see there's a bit of a hang up. We'll see if I can get stuck indefinitely. Nope. So you do have some wiggle room, you can see, but really I just aim pretty much at that yellow dot here, or this tan dot. Light tan, rather. And 3 right rolls into a forward roll. Now this is with Hunter, base endurance with Ring of Favor and Protection, so I can chain 4 rolls together. If you can't chain 4 rolls, the best setup I found is to be as centered as possible on this, right? This has less freedom to be really close to the right, so as centered as possible, make sure the plank's between your feet. And I just line up the front of my head with the wall, and from there I aim, I do an arrow cancel, and then I just spam 4 rolls. That way it only takes 2 rolls. So that's an option as well. Make sure I'm flush against here, the plank's between my feet. I line up this wall with the front of my head, and aim, arrow cancel, and just spam 4 rolls. So those are your options for right here. If you're confident enough to freehand it, or even you'll see some people use a black separation crystal, you can do that as well. I'm not very good at these setups, because I think you can just line your head up with this post, do this, and roll out of it. So that's a possible setup without a bow. Or really, you could probably just, right, aim your bow and do an arrow cancel as well. Or even line your head up. Don't even aim your bow, just do an arrow cancel into freehanding. I don't trust these setups as much. They're more prone to error, especially if you're using controller and not mouse and keyboard. So really, this one's my go-to. It's quick, you only have to aim right in front of you. It's right here, it's pretty loose. 3 right rolls into a forward roll. Perfect. If you don't have enough endurance, line your head up at the front of the wall, arrow cancel, and just spamming a forward roll. Those are your options, and that's the breakdown for the skip. Hope that helps.